我不知道有没有声音，你们能听到我说话吗？
现在能听到了，对，现在没有消叫了，现在有消叫。啊，你在现场只能开一个口，只能开一个话筒。如果你们开2个到3个话筒，估计就会有消叫的问题。你们看一下怎么处理。消叫，现在有消叫啊。
你们消掉那个 COP15的音，就那个音不行，其他的话筒都可以。
test。
Test micro.
我不知道能不能行。
现在正常。
主要是他们的那个 COP15 有消叫，我们的好像还是 OK 的。你听我的耳机能听见吗？有回音吗？还是怎么的？
海南和米冰的都 OK， 把 COP15 消掉，他们的有问题。
但是他们的没有办法弄。
喂，停掉。没有办法，那就把那个 COP15停掉。那个是不是对着直播的？对着直播的，如果有困难就把那个停掉，没关系的。我们先保证我们的主体。
COP15 mute 就完了嘛，这不传不出声音来不就完了？
对 ，mute 那个就行啦，你们 host mute 一下就行。
你试一下，你播放一个视频试一下。我们把那个 mute 了，还是有消叫。
Test 1. 1, 2, test 1.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, thanks for inviting us. We are honored to attend United Nations Convention to combat desertification.
很好。
Test 1, 2, test 1.
Round.
COP15 and to attend COP14. That is our second time to attend this meeting. As we reckon that one of the critical challenges faced by solar PV system is to
米冰，我们开始了。
Recording stopped. Recording in progress.
哎，讲说明白了。
校正。
Son.
Ah, coupez le micro là. Ils arrêtent le micro là devant.
现在什么状态？
可以听到吗？测试测试。
你放一下那个致辞，我看一下文。
On doit couper le micro de son ordinateur. C'est coupé. Et le volume
Non, c'est lui qui gère maintenant. C'est lui-là qui va gérer.
何老师能听到我们那边的声音吗？OK OK， 太好了。啊。现场测试人员在测试，在调整，现在。Sorry。他们那边有一个总台，由他们来控制我们的设备的声音，然后我这边把 PPT 先放出来。
哎，贾斯。
不要开那个麦啊！不要开那个。
他给开的，不是我开的，是他们开的，他们一定要开。
话筒打开好像是。
Hello sir。
一定要开这个。
Hello sir。
好，怎么样？可以开始了吗？
Sir, we could not turn on this. We have noise.
不，我们需要有这个声音，你要不然我们两个声音都出不去。
我的可以，你用你的电脑。
你的可以开始了，现在在说。
Recording stopped.
Test 1, 2. Test 1.
Recording in progress.
Test, test. Ça passe? Test, test 1, 2, test 1. Ça va? Ok, d'accord.
何老师，您现在看屏幕是全屏的
不全的，没有全屏。
OK。
你试一下不开这个能不能听到？开了这个有效叫。你试一下不开。
这是技术人员让我们开的，我们不能动它。OK。
不能用电脑吗？它一直有消叫啊。
那个米冰，那个 Marcos 到了啊，他到现场了，米冰。
哪位到了
？Marcos 到了，到现场了。
Marcos 到了。对，还有就是
致辞呢？他到现场了。
现在这个不是全屏，你不是调出来那个东西是变形的。
还有2位嘉宾呢，姜老师。
没关系啊，开始。
先开始吧，你先开始往下走。
啊，对，是按这个。
Okay, so maybe it's time for our meeting now. Our guest is coming.
我们需要把 COP15设成 host。
When you are in the PowerPoint, you will not share with us. You finish with PowerPoint, you share with videos.
You share with the videos. No, we share. I share the videos. You don't know how to share the videos because it has.
On a pratiquement fini, c'est juste déjà le son. Non, il fait pas son. Il y avait un problème.
Okay, maybe it's time for our meeting. Okay. It's 8 o'clock, so good morning, everyone. Can you hear me clearly?
把其他的话筒关掉，剩下一个话筒就可以了。开始了，
Okay, so now we can start. And
肖教。
It's okay.
你说话。
Okay, can we start?
你对那个15必须静音，不然这个没法进行。
COP15现在谁没看得见？这个挺难，你能看见吗？把它关掉。
主持人是可以把那个嘉宾静音的，那个主持人可以点一下，右键一下 COP15，把它静音。
这得找。好，你试一下阅兵。
好，现在能听到吗？
肖教。
不是，可能有别人开着。你说，Please, those people you will not be. Please mute your microphone when the moderator start the meeting. Please mute your microphone. 你不要 mute 了，你可以开始了。
OK， 那我现在开始。
是你们会场还有哪一个可以关掉？因为现在肯定是你们会场，因为别的人的声音是不会互相干扰的，就是你们主会场的哪个需要mute，你给我告诉我。 你们再试一下。现在好像会场所有的人都 mute 了，就你自己开。
Hello, can you hear me? Yes, Mr. Pablo is here. Please take a seat.
Maybe just the way I said can you
Yes,
make
yes. The presentation is on laptop.
Yeah?
Yes, thank you for coming.
Please off your mic and microphone on the machine.
你再试一下。
Okay, you can just leave your information. You can leave your information.
是他会议室里面的他们几个话筒在消掉，现在会议室里面的其他的都是关掉了，只有李斌这一个是在有声音的。现在。
Okay. Can you hear me clear?
何老师，您需要把 COP15设成co-host， 设成联系主持人，他们会场要求。
还是现场的问题，是现场的设备之间在消掉。
何老师，对不起，您需要把 COP15设成联席主持人。现在。
他们现场的那个大的这个功放关掉算吗？
如果现场的关掉的话，现场就听不到声音。
现场的那个大的功放关掉，只留下一个小的这个电脑话筒就可以了。引到这个电脑前面的发言，就已经设一个发言台。
Can we close the sound?
No, I mean we can only have one mic outside, or we will have some noise because this is a noise.
把那个功放关掉，把大的功放关掉就可以了。
It's a noise from your microphone.
你们在说话。
Okay, can you hear me?
抱歉各位，我们说了一下。
是的，没有问题，就把你们大的功放关掉，在现场就不需要搞外放。
OK。
现场不要搞外放，直接用电脑就可以了，就像你把它当成一个电脑端就行，不要搞成一个功放端。
They have some outside, so maybe they.
或者里边你可以把你自己现场的麦克风关掉也行。你现场
没有麦克风。我只有。
China's total over 300 gigawatts solar photovoltaics has made an essential contribution to combating desertifications. China plans to build 450 gigawatts of solar and wind power in desertified area. Dear Mr. Mungal and dear distinguished guests, I sincerely welcome all of you to attend this set of events. Solar empower land people from scarcity to prosperity. This is hosted by the School of Social Science of Tsinghua University. We'll discuss the integrated solutions involving water, food, and ecosystem restoration and how land people move from scarcity to prosperities. At the end of 2019, Mr. Pradeep Mungal, the then Deputy Executive Secretary of UNCCD, came to Tsinghua University and signed 2 MOUs with us. To support the cooperation with UNCCD, the School of Social Sciences of Tsinghua University has organized a research team for the cooperative project Renewable Energy Transformation to promote ecosystem restoration and sustainable livelihood. Several reputed Chinese enterprises and scientific institutions have also joined the working group. In this set of events, we will present some results of the project over the past few years. China has been striving to achieve the land degradation neutrality (LDN) by 2030 and has become one of the few countries that actually realize land degradation neutralities. China's total over 300 gigawatts solar photovoltaics has made an essential contribution to combating desertifications. China plans to build 450 gigawatts of solar and wind power in desertified area by 2030, which will bring new life into Chinese desertification control. On May 9th, China's State Council and the Foreign Minister Wang Yi participated by radio in the COP 15th Heads of State Summit on drought and sustainable land management. He put forward a suggestion of strengthening international cooperation and promoting green developments under global concerted desertification governance. Tsinghua University will continue to support the project team Renewable Energy Promoting Ecosystem Restoration, which is a significant part of the cooperation between School of Social Sciences and UNCCD. We are glad to share China's experience in combating desertifications with solar photovoltaics, and we are ready to expand the cooperation with countries around the world for further research and construction in the field of solar energy and desertification control. Welcome you to join us. Lastly, I sincerely welcome all of the attendees today to visit China and Tsinghua University, hopefully in the not so far future. I wish the meeting full success. Thank you.
From Professor Peng Kaiping. The next, please welcome Mr. Marcos Monteiro, NGO and CSO Liaison Officer of the UNCCD Secretariat, who will make a welcoming address. Yeah, Mr. Marcos, you can just start. You can just sit before you. Yeah, maybe you can just sit in front of this laptop, or you can just sit in front of my laptop. It's okay. Everyone see?
So it's okay.
Can you
Hello? Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can everybody understand? Hear me?
Yes, Marcos, we can hear you
right.
very well.
Oh, perfect. Pradeep, you're there. Hello, everybody, and sorry for the small inconvenience with the technology. I would like to welcome all the participants, both here and in Abidjan and elsewhere that are participating in this really interesting side event that is taking place on the sidelines of COP15. As you know, for the UNCCD Secretariat has a very strong collaboration also with Tsinghua University and the colleagues there for the work that they have been doing in different areas, particularly since also we had our incredible COP13 organized in Ordos, where we were able to engage with the technical.
Can everyone just see the Mr. Marco? Or Mr. Marco, you can just sit in this laptop.
你别继续，怎么了？
在等什么？我们听不到任何声音。
米冰，你的声音关掉了呀。
米冰，你妙的。
Please sit in front of my laptop. Sorry for the.
Okay, here. Can you see me? Can you hear me?
Yes, Marcos, we can see you and you're looking great.
No problem. I think before you were not able to see me, but I will. Okay, or hear me. So I will say it again if you were not able to hear. So again, I would like to thank all the participants that have come here to Cote d'Ivoire to participate in the 15th session of the Conference of the Parties, and also those that are following this side event from abroad. I was mentioning that the collaboration between the UNCCD Secretariat and Tsinghua University has been a long-standing one with different areas of collaboration, and everything started particularly when we had the 13th session of the Conference of the Parties that took place in Ordos in and organized with the Chinese government, but that was giving us also an amazing opportunity to see what the different academia and researchers and Chinese institutions were doing in the area of protecting the land and rehabilitating the land. So the theme that we are going to be addressing today is also very dear to our heart, and our work is on the area of the potential of solar power as a way to improve also the living conditions of the people, particularly those that are most vulnerable. And when we look also the strong deficit of energy that many countries are experiencing, and the huge potential that renewable energies similar to the solar energy have, I think we think that we need to try to look for those that have the means and the technology that they can help in bringing that deficit and shorten it, that deficit, and provide energy to the population. And this is related and can help to so many things, including the area of food, the area of production, at the same time as the to avoid that other sources of energy like wood and others are utilized. I think, distinguished delegates, I will stop here. I think we have in front of us two amazing panels, and I can see that very good friends of us of the convention are going to be taking the lead from here. We have our colleagues Gia, that is managing a lot of things from Bonn, trying to make sure that we are working and supporting all the parties, particularly the Asian parties and all the scientific uh, um, experts, and also our former Deputy Executive Secretary Pradeep Monga, who has been also an advocate for the work of the renewable energy, and I think he will be an extremely good participant in this event. Without anything more to add, I would like to wish you a very fruitful exchange. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Marcos. Thank you.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you for the Marcos. Thank you. And next, let we move to the first session. In the session, we will invite Mr. Jia Xiaoxia from UNCCD Secretariat to make an introduction presentation, followed with a panel discussion by scientists and policymakers on the topic of international policy on co-development of solar energy and sustainable land management. But before the presentation started, I would like to take a few minutes of your time. We prepared some questionnaires for participants on site, and we would appreciate it if you would fill out the questionnaires provided. Please leave your questionnaire on the table. At the end of the event, my colleague Bettina will introduce the questionnaire for participants online and collect the questionnaire on site. So please introduce our questionnaires.
Okay, thank you, Miping. Can you hear me? Okay, let's do the first questionnaire. Number 1, are you aware that the power generated by solar panel can directly?
But wait a minute, Tina. Our audience cannot hear all the sounds.
Okay, I speak
铁男静音了，打开麦克风说
Or
话
you。can just turn off
铁男，
micro.
你把屏幕关掉，然后才能让贾老师这呀。
Okay,
他
I
没有
can
说
speak.
话。
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
声音很小，
Okay.
你把屏幕共享屏幕关掉，然后贾老师才能打开。
现在我先介绍一下 questionnaire。
Please start.
不用介绍了，你把那个关掉，你把你的共享屏幕关掉哎。
Please start the first questionnaire.
何老师说让我关掉。
Okay. So
Okay. So maybe you just I'm muted. Sorry. Wait a minute.
听不到米冰的声音。
听不到米冰的声音。
can you hear me, everyone?
Yeah.
Our audience on site or our audience online, can you hear me?
米
Okay.
冰，刚才铁男是在介绍他的问题，我让他 stop sharing 是之前的，他介绍完了是吗？
Yes. So maybe. Oh, okay. It's okay. Thank you, Tina. And now please welcome Ms. Jia Xiaoxia, the programmer officer on site and the state secretary of the UNCCD, to make the presentation on the topic of rational scientific evidence and multiple benefits of co-development practices by UNCCD secretariat. And Ms. Jia Xiaoxia, please. Wait a minute, Tina. Please share the screen. Share your screen, but please focus on the.
Can you see my screen?
No. Stop sharing your screen.
We can see that.
Yes, we can see that.
No, but our audience cannot see.
Yeah, wait.
Sorry.
My time. If you can see.
Wait a minute, Ms. Jia. Our audience on site cannot hear you.
I can hear that. We can hear.
Yeah, but the rest can hear, so just go on.
So can you see my screen?
Yes, yeah, we can see your screen and we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. Thank you, moderator. It's my pleasure to make this brief introduction. Firstly, I would like to make a brief review on a very simple formula. We are all familiar with them at our high school. Where are our food, energy, and other ecosystem services come from? That's from photosynthesis, made by plants. We make use of the solar energy to synthesize carbon dioxide, nutrients from land, and wastewater together to make our food, feed, fuel, fiber,
wait a minute.
and energy. And all the plants and animals, we are also use those biomass to support our life. That is a fundamental formula. This NTP is for our planet. And then at macro cycle, we can find energy, water, and working together under different land use type. We have the ecosystem. That is our business. So currently, human being is fasting development. What we want and what we need are increased dramatically and doubled in 30 years, past 30 years. We need more water to produce food. 2/3 of the total water withdrawal is for our food, agriculture. 83% of drought cost losses are from agriculture that impact our food production. And 30% of the total world energy also used for production of our food and supporting supply chain of food. So we need energy, food, supported by water and health, land to get human development. But unfortunately, in those dry land, coincidentally, food insecurity and electricity insecurity are coincidentally overlapped. And then we also find land degradation severe in dry land and we under drought and water stress. That is the challenge. How we are under the challenges, how difficult dry land. So what we can change, we know, no electricity community will cause major impacts on water, land, and people. There are no electricity, there will be nowhere accessibility of the local people to education provided online, no better life powered by electricity. So our land will be under pressure because we rely more on forest and those residues from agriculture. Instead to return them to the soil, we use that as a fuel. So for water, we have now enough capacity to get water from underground to fill our irrigation. That's the impact from power side will give the pressure, more pressure to people, water, and land. So firstly, for a healthy land, what we need to do, the GLO2 have already shown us 3 scenarios. So the nations in total pledged to restore 1 billion hectares of degraded land by 2030. To deliver this kind of pledge, we need investment. In this decade, 1.6 trillion. That is a big amount of investment. But we know land restoration is a very long time process. Usually at the early stage, we have less return. That means we have less incentive. But scientists tell us when we integrating restoration with solar energy development, we may give the incentives. We may have the incentives to the farmers and the landowners. That is what we can change from energy side. We change from one piece of land to produce either energy or food, or we changed into one piece of land we can harvest both energy and other substance from the ground. That means we have double income. So the scientists also tells us by their technical designed model, please note, their scientific development, we can achieve increase the land use efficiency by select different crop varieties and by different patterns of growing of crops. We can reach 160% of land use efficiency comparing to those model one piece of land only for one production purpose. This is those cases from different areas for our to think, for our to increase our knowledge, to make change finally. From another side is water scarcity, what the power can contribute to generate the land with more productivity. We can find in Africa, most of the lands, lack of water is due to economic capacity. Because we lack of economic capacity, we lack of power to make access to underground water. We lack the capacity to manage our land in a smart way, in a water-saving way. So that is from another angle, we can improve efficiency of land agriculture through energy, power, science. So we know the dry land is short of water, short of healthy land is under degradation, but we have another potential. We have rich resources and sunshine, solar energy with the rich resources. We can change these rich resources to empower us to much accessible to water, of which panel of solar panel can help local people get water, fuel their daily life and their land. And also the power can also generate double income from one piece of land. This is a village in our future. We can get more healthy land by add incentive to farmers get double income for generation. Those power can power our society, make our home lightening, and make our children get access to education, and at the same time, water for our life. So that's empowers land and people. So the Tsinghua University already have some studies on different type of this kind of model. They will give you detailed introduction on how can we achieve based on scientific design and innovative technology. But what I would like to highlight is we have to pay attention to this working with people together, with the local people. Success cannot be achieved if we only working with enterprises, scientists. We need to work with local people. We need to bring their local knowledge together. That is a way to improve the local capacity to empower the local people and land with incentive. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, can you hear me now? Our participants online and also our participants on site, can you hear me?
Can you hear me? Okay. Wow. Thank you for the please move to
Please move.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, okay, thank you. Thank you for the presentation from Ms. Jia Shaoxia. And now we can just move to the panel discussion. So let me introduce the panelists up due. Dr. Pradeep Monga, former UNCCG Deputy Executive Secretary, currently is serving as ISA Senior Advisor. Dr. Zonda Jack, hello, Zonda Jack, and works as head of program Burkina Faso country office at IUCN. And Dr. Lei Jiaqiang from Ecology and Geography Research Institute of Chinese Academy of Science. And every panelist has 5 minutes to make your statement. So So the next is Dr. Monga from ISA, but Dr. Monga, please wait a minute. I will make sure your presentation can be heard by our audience online on site.
I can also try to share from my screen. Let me try if you allow me.
Wait a minute.
Can you see? I have put my screen. Can you see it, please?
I can see you and I can hear you because I have the laptop, but our participants on site cannot hear you.
It's fine. We can see you from online.
It's okay. So maybe Mr. Pradeep Monga, but we can only hear you. We cannot see your presentation slides.
Okay, maybe then you can put it on from your screen, and that is fine with me.
Wait a minute.
Can you see my screen now?
Yes, we can see online.
Could I start now? Rizal, can I start now?
Okay.
Okay, Ms. Monga, we can see you and hear you from outside. Oh, it's time for you to start your presentation, please.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Rao. First of all, colleagues, friends, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very happy to be here as part of this side event, which is being organized by Tsinghua University and UNCCD on the margins of COP15 at Côte d'Ivoire, Abidjan. It is so nice to see so many familiar faces, and of course, I would like to first of all thank Dean of Tsinghua University, Professor Fan, Professor He, and his wonderful team, including Zhao, who is our moderator, and of course, my colleagues from UNCCD, especially I could recognize Marcos Monteiro and of course Gia, who are really spearheading the CST and SPI group within UNCCD. My presentation is basically to focus on how we can look at land and solar, both plus programs, more in integrated way. And let me start with my presentation now. Basically, just to give you just a starting point of COP15 theme, which I'm sure Gia, the previous speaker, has already mentioned very clearly. The focus of this COP15, land, life, and legacy, from scarcity to prosperity, is the right way to approach, because that's where we're linking land with people, and of course people with big programs which will make a difference on the transformative side, whether it is Africa, Asia, Latin America, or other parts of the world. We try to look at the overall context of land under pressure. As we speak, almost 2 billion hectares of productive land is degraded worldwide, out of which 500 million hectares are part of agricultural land, abundant agricultural land. The main cause of concern for all of us as of now is 12 million hectares of land around getting degraded every year. And that is where land degradation neutrality becomes very relevant if we want to achieve sustainable development goals, nature positive, or net zero by 2050. On the other hand, when we look at the solar technologies within renewables, they're the fastest moving technologies. Although the overall share of solar is still low compared to other renewables, but I feel is the fastest growing technology systems around the world. For instance, the latest International Energy Agency report, which just came out last week, shows that there will be new record capacities addition in renewables in 22, despite all hiccups of COVID, economies, and of course, other political things happening around the world. And with that, solar PV will account for 60% of capacity addition, and that's a very good sign. International Solar Alliance, another global institution set up by India and France and many other countries around the world, is aiming at very ambitious plan of mobilizing $1,000 billion investment and of course achieving installed capacity of 1,000 gigawatt by 2030. Again, a very ambitious target, but I would like all the participants to look at it also a very ambitious target which UNCCD is trying to put at COP15, which is restoring 1 billion hectares of degraded land by 2030. So if we really look at both targets, both ambitious goals by UNCCD and solar community around the world, we can really make a lot of multiplier effects, whether it's food, water, and ecosystem services. But here I would like to caution also, and perhaps that was one of the questions I wanted to ask in the question I also, we should also always keep in mind that there's always some trade-offs when we look at land and solar plus programs. There's always food, energy, environment trilemma, we call it, and also sometimes, not always, the environmental impacts of solar energy systems, which we must keep and address as and when we develop solar land projects. I have three key messages for the participants here attending this COP and especially this side event. First key message is we need to break down the silos. I always feel amazed that whether it is the international community at the UN level or whether we talk at national level or at the community level, we try to treat land degradation, climate change, and biodiversity in silos. It's time that we must look at it as interconnected challenges. Second, if we want to address sustainable development goals and achieve them by 2030 and of course with net zero 2050, we must look at interlinkages between economy, society, and biosphere if we want to achieve all 17 sustainable development goals. Second key message, which I'm sure all of you already know, that sustainable land management provides multiple benefits. It provides multiple benefits, but it's time to connect the dot. We must not look at land restoration exclusively separate from water management or food security or poverty eradication or addressing drought and water stress, and of course climate mitigation and adaptation. Because we believe, and I'm sure all of the police present there agree, that we have almost 25 to 30% soil organic carbon, which is also a very good solution for fixing carbon. But also on the adaptation side, sustainable land management can provide a lot of solutions along with, of course, biodiversity conservation. My third message, which is very clear, is there's a very strong nexus that exists between sustainable land management and renewable energy, especially solar technologies. This is one area which I feel always amazed. It is still to develop, and I'm very happy that a very strong partner like Tsinghua University in China, and also big companies like Dongguai or Alien Group and others working very strongly linking sustainable land management renewables in China. In India, we also see a lot of companies working and rest of the world also, because this is an area which I feel we must look at very, very strongly. And here I feel that solar energy can power regenerative agriculture, aquaculture, greening of deserts, sustainable value chains, where the industrial manufacturing sector comes in. Whole of agriculture, food, and water value chains are part of that. And most importantly, it provides a lot of livelihood opportunities, jobs creation for local communities, which is at the crux of that. Innovation, smart policies, and partnerships, in my view, the 3 points facilitate solar energy and land integration for empowering people, and of course, empowering and managing this planet. And of course, this is where the whole challenge comes, how we really capitalize on the strong nexus that exists between sustainable land management and renewable energy programs. I have picked up 4 examples, 2 from India, 2 from China, which I feel can really substantiate what I'm trying to say. The first slide I have picked up from state of Punjab in northern part of India, in Ludhiana, which is Punjab is the food basket of India. And here you can see at the farming level, we can see solar panels providing solar water pumping. And it's you can see them across all of Punjab now. And here again, the problem is that challenge is not only that it provides electricity as a decentralized power systems, when it is not working with solar pump, but also then of course assured irrigation. The only challenge here comes is we must look at the water table very carefully. That groundwater table should not go, there should not be over harvesting of water here. But otherwise, it provides a lot of solution in Asia, and of course, I'm sure in Africa we need billions of such decentralized solar pumps to provide irrigation, and where degraded land can become productive, and where irrigation, where agriculture is there, it can become more of regenerative agriculture. The second example is we are talking about in state of Gujarat, where we have 600 megawatt plus. I'm told it is already becoming 1 gigawatt in state of Gujarat, where it's enhancing energy security. Huge panels are coming up, but it's not only from the energy security point of view, whole of industrial park, the manufacturing value chain is coming up around these places. And that is, I'm sure it is happening other part of the world. These are very excellent two examples, one on the agriculture at the macro level and one is macro level where the industrial planning is there in India. Coming to China, China has so many excellent examples. And I have been visiting China many times, and every time I get fascinated by progress being made between solar and land management. And here, a very good example is of sandy land, greening the deserts, again, bringing the private sector know-how, bringing the public sector policies, and of course, knowledge of Tsinghua University and other academics in China are helping them. And here you can see that in Mosu, China deserts, how the transformation has taken place from small solar voltaic systems, how the whole area has become so green. And very good second example, which I always get fascinated, is from Tongwai, and a solar PV company. They are one of the first, I think, in the world to really integrate aquaculture with PV generation. And they have come up with enhancing food security and strengthening value chain programs in many parts of China. And this is a Rudong project in Jiang district and province. And I feel it's a very good example, which has a lot of, you can say, multiplier and replication potential in Africa also, because fisheries is one of the staple diet in many coastal part of Africa. And this is where it can become very useful, programs, solar and land solar energy programs. Let me conclude my presentation with 5 points where I feel that how co-development and multiple benefits of sustainable land management and solar energy systems are working. First, again, re-emphasizing we must break the silos between climate, biodiversity and land, between land and renewables, and we must connect the dots. That's where the multiplier effects will come, because we must not look at land or solar in isolation, and we should look them in together for food security, for water management, and for ecosystem services. Second, we must put building blocks in place. And there, the smart policies, which Gia really mentioned very clearly, we really need very smart policies, financial flows, knowledge management, and of course, building capacities. Third, innovation is the key. And I feel innovation is happening in China, in India, in Europe. It's time that innovation should spread to other parts of the world, especially in Africa. And here, especially for financing, I feel a very good role is being played by Global Environment Facility, Green Climate Fund, United Nations agencies, multilateral development banks, and bilateral and CSOs, civil society organizations working on that. But most importantly, we need business models to sustain where the private sector comes in very, very strongly. Fourth, nurturing partnerships. Partnership is the key at every level, global, national, and grassroots level. And here I feel public-private partnerships, business-to-business partnership, and here with public-private partnership, we must bring in the academics. And there I must emphasize, we really need university like Tsinghua University and others to really step in to provide them tackling and know-how so that things can be translated from vision to action on the ground, where private sector can take a lead like Tongwai company. And of course, fifth and most importantly, where UN comes in very strongly, and I have been part of UNCCD, and I really would like to congratulate my colleagues for that, international cooperation, where we're talking about South-South cooperation, North-South cooperation in terms of technology, skills, knowledge, and of course, capacity building. Let me again thank my colleagues, especially from UNCCD and from Tsinghua University, for giving me this opportunity. And I do believe land solar plus is the key if we want to achieve the target or ambitious target or goal being mentioned by UNCCD at COP15, which is restoring 1 billion hectares by 2030, but also bringing in almost 1,000 gigawatt and $1,000 billion investment in solar system by International Solar Alliance, rest of the world, and which can have transformative impact on food, water, energy, and of course, ecosystem services. Thank you so much, moderator, for giving this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation from Monga, Dr. Monga. Thank you. And our next is Mr. Dr. Jack from Burkina Faso. Please sit in front of my computer. Wait a minute, I have to outside.
You're welcome.
Okay, please.
Can I? Okay, thank you very much. I would like again to thank the organizer of this event and the opportunity given to me to take you through the dynamic of how the solar is empowering land and people in Burkina Faso. I will take you through 3 points. The first one is the potential that exists in Burkina Faso and what is being tapped in. And to say that in Burkina Faso, we are taking the solar energy along the agro-silvopastoral value chain. That is at the production level. We are currently implementing the solar pumping system for small irrigation. And this associates with what we call the nature-based solution. We believe that this will keep the farmers in the same piece of land for long, so to reduce the itinerancy of the agriculture in Burkina Faso, and this contribute to reducing the land degradation in these countries. We are also working to improve the storage, the post-harvest aspect of the agro-silvopastoral product. That is, we are establishing a system where farmers can store their produce and sell in a period where they can capture more income from the market. And this is also done using the solar energy. And the third level or the third link of the value chain we are working in is at the processing level, where we are moving from the oil processing unit to the solar energy processing unit. And at the consumption level, this is the long-term story. People have been using solar to cook in their households, and we are trying to promote also this at the rural level. The second aspect of this, how the Burkina Faso consider the solar as a major source of energy for the population, is that we have at least 2 sets of policies documents. That is the National Action Plan for Renewable Energy, which was adopted by the government in 2015. And in 2018, the government also adopted what they call the Energy Strategies to 2019 to 2023. And this document policy enabled the government to launch the first set of what they call the eco-villages. And these eco-villages, it's a project that should cover 2,000 villages in Burkina Faso. And the first batch of villages was 13, launched in 2018. And these eco-village projects aim at sustainable access of renewable energy and the preservation of environment, among other objectives. That means that in Burkina Faso, we believe that solar energy can support sustainable environmental management and help protect the natural resources. In addition to this, Burkina Faso believes that improving sustainable food and nutritional security should be achieved through the valuing solar energy. And in Burkina Faso, we clearly associate the access to renewable energy, particularly the solar system, to the preservation of the environment, particularly the forest land, where we know that most of the energy currently comes from the biomass that are cut from the forest, and the solar energy can help to reduce the pressure of rural community on the woodland or the forest land. So basically, what is the urgent needs for local community to scale up these technologies is first the provision of the kits, solar energy kits to local community, but this should be associated with a capacity building at the local level so that we have the local community have access to the routine maintenance of these solar kits, because this may end up in an unsustainable way if there is no local technicians to take into account the possibility that the solar system can break down and or need to be routinely maintained in Burkina Faso. So this is what I wanted to share with you, and we are open for questions, if any question or any comments. And I wish all the attendants a good event.
Thank you, Mr. Jack. And the next, we can hear a video from Dr. Lei Jiaqiang. He is not on site, but please don't worry, we'll share a video for you. The video is in Chinese, but we prepared a very clear English subtitle. So.
女士们、先生们，我今天报告的题目是非洲绿色长城建设技术合作与展望。我是来自于中国科学院新疆生态与地理研究所的雷家强。中国科学院新疆生态与地理研究所是从事干旱地区生态环境资源研究的国立机构，在荒化防治研究方面取得了一系列重要成果，获得联合国 UNEP 奖项2项，在塔克拉玛干沙漠建立了世界第一条穿越流动沙漠的人工绿色走廊。该项工作得到了 UNCCD 执秘伊布拉辛·迪奥先生的高度赞赏。以下我从3个方面介绍我们围绕非洲绿色长城建设开展的合作研究。第一个是撒赫勒地区荒化格局。近20年来，撒赫勒地区荒化发生了比较大的变化，其中集中的荒化面积在减少，在空间上表现向北退缩。造成荒化变化的主要因素包括降水、风力侵蚀、土地利用类型和生畜的密度。近20年来，撒赫勒地区荒化状态有80%以上保持不明显的这样变化，同时有近20%还是发生了显著变化，特别是一些3G 高原地区荒化有明显减轻的趋势，在尼日利亚等平原地区荒化有所加重。变化波动最大的区域主要分布在荒漠草原过渡带，那么时间段为2010到2015年。这是我们做的1992年到2015年3个时间段毛里塔尼亚、尼日利亚、埃塞比亚3个国家荒化的分布图。从3张图中可以看出，3个国家极重度荒化土地面积都有所增加，而非荒化土地面积也在增加。 那么导致这一原因主要是土地利用和这个人工造林、生态建设等这样的结果所致。第二个方面，我介绍一下黄化防治的技术合作。首先是2个研究的案例，第一个是围绕毛里塔尼亚首都诺克绍特防护体系建设开展工作。首先，我们开展了包括风矿、沙物质、沙丘类型等为主的毛里塔尼亚首都风沙环境的研究。那么，通过引种和筛选，丰富了当地的生态建设的植物种。我们共筛选出了5种可利用防风固沙的乡土小灌木和这个草本植物，同时也从中国引进了10种优良黄木植物，开展了小方格固沙的技术试验和节水种植的技术试验，取得了良好的效果。基于上研究，我们提出了毛里塔尼亚首都圈防护体系建设的优化方案，形成了2区3带的防护新模式。第二个案例是我们在埃塞比亚低海拔地区开展的草原灌丛化治理的研究工作。研究区域选择在埃塞比亚南部的亚比鲁地区。我们对这一区域的灌丛化的时空格局和日侵灌木的生物学特征开展了研究。在查明东非高原不同海拔地区植物分布特征和主要植物物种的基础上，我们从中国引进了10种食草植物，并且建立了人工食草繁育基地，形成了青灌育草、风山轮木、牧养结合、持续发展的适合当地的退化草地的修复模式，集成了沙漠城市风沙危害综合治理、戈壁风沙流治理、沙漠公路沙害治理、丘陵地区积水造林、退化草地修复重建的技术模式，开展了技术培训与技术交流，特别是2017年在中国新疆举办了非洲绿色长城建设技术培训班，有来自于9个国家20多位学员在中国新疆开展了为期14天的技术培训，取得了非常好的效果。第3个方面是非洲绿色长征建设合作展望。那么针对非洲绿色长城建设范围大、区域环境差异明显，我们开展了非洲绿色长城建设区域的区划研究，那么构建非区治理模式，通过评价和筛选中国实益非洲绿色长城建设的技术和材料，那么构建中国绿色技术公园，包括节水灌溉技术、植物引种繁育技术、防风阻沙技术等这样的技术区域，建立适宜于非洲绿色长城国家的荒漠生态产业园区，基于撒哈拉地区丰富的光热资源，建设光伏加的这样的技术模式，形成光伏加治沙、光伏加治盐、光伏加养水、光伏加种养的这样技术模式，服务于非洲绿色长城建设。以上是我的报告，谢谢大家。
Okay, thank you for your presentation, and thank you for all your presentation from the scientists and policymakers. So, let's move to the next session, practices of land solar plants in different regions and the potential of scaling up in Africa. And in this session, you will be hearing a keynote presentation by Dr. He Jijiang from Tsinghua University. In the following video show parts, 4 land solar plant cases from 4 enterprises being implemented in different regions will be shown. The representatives from Asia and Africa will discuss the land solar plant cases and the scaling up potential. So the next is the presentation from Dr. He Jijiang, the Deputy Executive Director of Research Center for Energy Transition and Social Development. Please.
I'm Ji Jianghe from Tsinghua University. I will reduce the attempts made by China in the co-development of solar photovoltaic and sustainable land management. I hope this experience from China can inspire other regions of the world, especially Africa. Solar PV is the most promising sustainable energy to power the land and the people. If solar panels were installed on 500,000 square kilometers land, the generated power can meet the whole world's electricity needs. The International Energy Agency predicted that 2050, the global solar PV installation could grow to nearly 9,000 gigawatts. Such a huge amount. Why? The most important thing is the cost of the solar panels has fallen significantly. Moreover, the trend of the decline has not stopped. Till the end of the 2021, China's total installed solar power capacity has exceeded 300 gigawatts. China has set a goal of achieving carbon neutrality by 2060. According to the research from our team, China needs 10 terawatts solar panels, which occupy 100,000 square kilometers land. This is about 1% of China's total land area. United States needs 0.5% of its land area to meet the 9 kilowatt solar power demand per capita for carbon neutrality. In September 2019, we organized a side event in COP14 in New Delhi. In December 2019, a MOU between Tsinghua University and the UNCCD was signed in Beijing. Its topic is science policy and technology cooperation for renewable energy transformation to promote ecosystem restoration and sustainable livelihoods. In March 2020, the working group called REAPER, Renewable Energy Promoter Ecosystem Restoration, was established in Boeing based on this MOU. In September 2020, a MOU on REAPER was signed by Tsinghua University and 13 Chinese companies and research institutions in renewable energy field. Why can solar PV empower land and people? Solar can generate carbon-free electricity. Second, solar panels are beneficial for the growth of vegetation in arid areas because the panels can block the scorching sunlight. Third, solar power plants can provide lots of job opportunity for local residents, including cleaning PV panels and trimming weeds. This slide shows the nexus of solar, land, and human beings. Solar PV provides electricity for the people on the land, promoting the agriculture, increasing the crop production, bringing modernity to human daily life, and enhancing their economic income. In addition, solar-empowered land can bring additional ecological value, including mitigating climate change, conserving biodiversity, and restoring degraded land. We have noticed that 11 of the 17 SDGs are closely related to the solar energy nexus. In the coming decade, China's solar power capacity may be increased 800 gigawatts. To guarantee enough land for these solar panels, China is exploring the approaches of multi-using the land on the PV panels. Therefore, we proposed the framework of Land Solar Plus. In this framework, 5 models of the co-development of the solar power and land are included, namely Solar Plus land restoration, Solar Plus irrigation system, Solar Plus agriculture, Solar Plus aquaculture, and Solar Plus poverty alleviation. The life cycle of the solar park is generally 25 years. The piles of the PV area take up only 0.5% of the area. After 25 years, we can get a ecological restored land with high vegetation coverage, healthier soil, has higher land productivity. There are many cases related to PV plus land restoration in our cases library. I will only introduce a few representative ones. In this case, the vegetation coverage of the solar park occupied land has improved. A PV park in Chinese Tengge Desert applied sand fixation technology. Grass squared grid Chinese Rubik's cube. Before the PV panels are built, no, this part of the desert has been transformed into a grassland. The combination of solar PV and irrigation system can greatly expand the scope and improve the capacity of irrigation. The technology of solar PV water pumping is now highly mature in China. Agriculture photovoltaic means agriculture plus photovoltaics. After raising the heat of the solar panels, the space under the panels can be used to grow crops and raise livestock and poultry. This is oil pony on the solar panel. Its flower is very beautiful and its fruit produce oil. It is a smart approach that solar PVs are combined with the mushroom greenhouses because mushroom need almost no sunlight to grow. Solar PV greenhouses to maximize the production of vegetables on limited land area. On the land of the Hainan, China, 1.34 gigawatt solar PV greenhouses projects has been constructed. How to alleviate the competition for sunlight between solar panel and crops? First is the tracking PV panel that can change angles. Second, an even lighting system that can distribute sunlight evenly under the panels. Third, a split lighting system that diodes the solar spectrum to generate electricity only for the light spectrum that is not needed for plant growth. This is a combination of solar park and aquaculture. China's solar plus poverty alleviation is not a technical model, but a revenue distribution model. The power generation revenue from the centralized solar power plants is used to finance the poor households. In last year, China produced almost 200 gigawatt PV modules to the world. By 2025, China will have a produce capacity of 1,000 gigawatt PV panels for world. I predict that the average price of the solar system in China can drop to $0.5 per watt by then. I have a dream. Solar empowers land and people. 1 billion kilowatts solar PV, 1 billion people, and 1 million squared kilometers land. This is my calculation. A squared kilometers of land can be fitted with 80 megawatt solar PV, generating 100 million kilowatt hours a year. A water pump powered by 3 kilowatt solar PV can irrigate 1 hectare land, bring food, drinking water to the local people. For the people living in area without electricity, 100 watt solar power will enable them to have access to education, markets, and jobs by using modern communications. Based on our current wealth data of China cases, we have entered into a partnership with WCAT and UNCCD to build an online database platform for sharing the Land Solar Plus good practice cases. This platform will allow stakeholders around the world to view detailed information about the cases that we have worked with. In addition, our group has compiled a case study report on Land Solar Plus. This report provides a scientific analysis of the approach for the co-development of solar PV and sustainable land management. It is also combined based on the data of the cases. Both of the above-mentioned works are still open to more cases to join in. Renewable energy will promote ecosystem restoration. Welcome to join us. Thank you.
Let's move this. Okay. And Mr. will just show what is Land Solar Plus. Then we will show you 4 cases of the Land Solar Plus. And all of them are English, so don't worry. The first case is just from the solar tech company.
Water is the source of life and brings vitality to everything. However, in Africa, the harsh environment and arid climate have accelerated desertification, and people's living has been increasingly threatened. SolarTech, as early as 2001, used solar energy to irrigate desert highway shelter belts in the Taklamakan Desert, creating a precedent for solar application in desert ecological restoration. The SolarTech system includes solar pumping inverter, water pump, and PV array. Provides a cost-effective solution by using free solar energy. The systems have been widely used in agriculture and forestry irrigation, desert control, pasture animal husbandry, improvement of human settlements, and other fields. In 2008, the Bangladesh MAF began to deploy solar agricultural plants using SolarTech solution to replace diesel generators for power supply. Solar agricultural irrigation has effectively alleviated the long-standing engineering water shortage. In 2009, the Uganda MWE adopted a solar pumping system to build a village drinking water project. Through the intelligent remote water management system, the water safety of rural residents can be effectively guaranteed. Due to the outstanding contributions in food security, ecological restoration, and social progress, the award of Global Human Settlements Model of Clean Technology was presented to SolarTech and Tsinghua University by GFHS and UNEP in 2014. Under the vigorous promotion of international organizations such as UNCCD, more countries are paying attention to use solar technology to achieve sustainable development. SolarTech system is cost-effective and environmentally friendly. In some areas with severe desertifications in Africa, SolarTech plays an increasingly important role in desert control, agricultural irrigation, animal husbandry, and living water supply. This is a palm nursery base in the desert. Due to the lack of water, plants are hard to survive. By installing solar pumping system and a reservoir, 24 hours water supply is realized. It can store 200 tons of water every day, fully meeting the growth needs of seedlings. Lack of irrigation leads to low agricultural productivity. Sponsored by UNBPF and implemented by FAO, a 55-kilowatt water pumping system was installed to realize the automatic irrigation. It has greatly improved the food security and reduced the poverty of the residents. The system provided fresh water to refugee camps. 500 tons of water is lifted and stored in the tank every day. The system eases the difficult situation and improves the health and hygiene of the camp. In dry season, crop planting and livestock breeding are difficult. Since solar pumping system is adopted, at least 90 tons of water is provided every day for irrigation and livestock drinking. The number of livestock breeding has significantly increased since then. Solartech advocates the development of solar water conservancy, explores the value of water and sunlight, empowers the land and people. Solar pumping systems have been used in more than 130 countries and regions around the world. Solar water conservancy is a new area that needs your attention and support. Let's work together to make the world of water full of sunshine.
Okay, thank you for the first case, and we'll see second case. It's from the Longi company.
Solar empowers land and people. Longi 336 kilowatt Kubuchi Desert Solar Power Project. Covering an area of 18,600 square kilometers, the Kubuchi Desert is located in the northern part of the ridgeline of the Ordos Plateau in the Inner Mongolia Autonomous Region and is the 7th largest desert in China. The mobile sand dunes account for about 61% of the total desert area, and the landforms are dominated by dune chains and lattice dunes. Is Longi's beneficial exploration into restoring vegetation and improving ecology when building desert solar power plants. The power station adopted HIMO 2, Longi's leading bifacial PERC module at the time, which achieves clean power generation with no pollution and zero emissions, and greatly improves the economic benefits of power generation. Meanwhile, since its PV modules absorb sunlight, block sunlight radiation, reduce water evaporation, and aids in dew condensation at night, along with the water sprayed when cleaning the panels, the whole workflow promotes the survival and the growth of vegetation and expands vegetation coverage. By the time the project was completed, the process was found to be of great significance for water storage, soil conservation, climate regulation, and ecological improvement. The total area of the Kubuchi Desert Solar Power Project can be divided into 3 parts according to the topography and from the perspective of planting. In the desert surrounding the project area, windbreak trees are planted in the edge forest belt. Sand willows are used to build upright sand barriers 20 centimeters above the ground on a large scale to prevent land desertification. Under the solar panels in the project area, we planted shrubs and sandy plants such as lemongrass, sheep firewood, flower stick, salal, etc., which are rich in high-quality protein, as well as good drought-tolerant forage grasses such as alfalfa and grass rhinoceros, and established scrub pasture. Outside of planting, 2 breeding areas were planned, a sheep breeding area and a poultry breeding area. By implementing Longi's 336 kilowatt Kubuchi Desert Solar Power Project with PV and desertification control solutions in the Kubuchi Desert, we have completed more than 52.6 square kilometers of desertification control in just 3 years.
尊敬的各位来宾、各位朋友，大家好，我是李正国。非常高兴能够通过视频的形式参与到联合国防治荒漠化公约第15次缔约国大会。 分享隆基作为一家太阳能科技公司在利用光伏进行荒漠治理和生态修复上的经验和思考。众所周知，土地荒漠化是一个全球性的问题，对生态安全、消除贫困、社会稳定和可持续发展都会造成严重影响。过去的很长一段时间，隆基以及很多光伏从业者都在孜孜不倦地研究光伏对全球荒漠化治理以及地球生态修复的意义。在中国，第一批风光大基地超过100吉瓦的风电光伏项目正在西部沙漠、荒漠和戈壁滩上如火如荼地开展，并由此开启了以新能源进行规模化荒漠治理的大幕。而隆基在内蒙古库布齐沙漠实施的光伏治沙项目，就是在荒漠化地区进行板上发电、板下种植、板间养殖等绿色生态发展模式的积极探索。大量的实践案例表明，光伏发电和荒漠化治理有着先天的资源互补优势。大量的荒漠和充足的日照条件为光伏发电提供了所需的土地资源和光照资源，而通过光伏发电带来的收益又可以有效提升土地价值。此外，大规模的光伏安装也能够有效地遮挡地面日照和降低水分蒸发，促进植被的生长和恢复，有助于种植业、养殖业的开展。如果将全球荒漠面积的1%用于光伏发电，就可以满足人类的用电需求。当地球荒漠面积的70%变为绿洲时，更可以吸收人类活动以来造成的所有碳排放。那时，所有因碳排放产生的社会环境问题都可以迎刃而解，而这也正是隆基 Solar for Solar 负碳地球理念所希望实现的最终目标。伴随着全球光伏度电成本的不断降低，这种光伏加荒漠治理的模式不仅在中国成为修复土地生态的解决方案，也会为全球土地荒漠化治理提供了从匮乏到繁荣的中国借鉴，充分阐释了光伏赋能土地和人类的可持续发展愿景。我们也希望更多的光伏企业携手创新，探索更多的光伏加生态修复的全球实践案例，以实际行动支持2030联合国可持续发展目标，进而实现全人类的可持续发展。谢谢大家。
Okay, thank you for the case from Longi, and the third case is from Baofeng Company. It's a very interesting company in English, so thank you for our participants to watch this.
Known as the Earth Cancer, desertification threatens 2/3 of the countries and regions, accounting for 1/5 of the world's population. The United Nations Sustainable Development Goals have been set to achieve land degradation neutrality by 2030. China, as one of the most serious desertificated countries, has been committed to providing the spirit of land desertification for a long time, and is contributing the world with Chinese solutions and wisdom. Baofeng is an outstanding enterprise from Ningxia, China. Initiates an innovative project with the integration of solar energy and modern agriculture. Located in southeast of Yinchuan City, capital of Ningxia Hui Autonomous Region, the project is on the east bank of Yellow River and the edge of Mo's sandy land. In the region, the average annual precipitation is only 180 to 220 mm, while the evaporation is as much as 1,000 to 1,550 mm. Since 2013, Baofeng starts ecological restoration of the local 107 square kilometers desert, improves the soil by planting alfalfa on the leveled land, upgrades irrigation infrastructure, diverts Yellow River water to the fields. Meanwhile, constructs a 35,000-ton base for organic fertilizer production. Then optimal cash crops are planted, such as goji berry, alfalfa, economic forest, and herbs, etc. Due to persistent ecological rehabilitation, the region's vegetation coverage has increased from less than 30% to 85.1%. In 2015, Baofeng constructs the world's largest monocrystalline silicon plant with smart solar power on the ecological restoration land. The power plant has an installed capacity of 1 gigawatt, covering an area of 20 square kilometers. It creates the solar and agriculture integration industrial model with the concept of ecological rehabilitation below, solar power generation above. The plant applies intelligent light chasing technology, realizing the power generation 20% higher than that of traditional solar devices. The annual green power generation achieves 1.7 billion kilowatt hours, saving 557,000 tons of standard coal equivalent and reducing 1.693 million tons emission of carbon dioxide, which is equivalent planting 90 million trees. The solar brackets stand up with 3 meters, allowing small to medium-sized machinery carry out large-scale planting operations under the panels. Meanwhile, the solar panels can help with sheathing and preserving soil moisture, reducing water evaporation by 70%. The general temperature under the panels is 2 to 3 Celsius degrees higher than that of ambient air in summer, normally from June to August. While the humidity is 0.2% to 2.6% higher than before, which will strengthen the transpiration, facilitate nutrient transportation, promote healthy plant development, and improve the food quality. This innovative model not only achieves remarkable land rehabilitation and efficient utilization of desert, but also drives local employment. Local farmers are trained to skillful industrial workers, which brings them stable and continuous income. For example, goji berry picking in the summer creates up to 4,000 jobs. More than 9% of the workers are females. Around $1 labor fee is paid for every 1 kilogram fresh goji berry. Annually, the entire project can create up to 100,000 jobs for solar panel cleaning and field maintenance, averagely bring each local family with additional income of $6,000. Empowering the land and people with solar. Baofeng will continue to promote the model to more places in China. To generate more carbon-free electricity, restore more deserts, and create more jobs. We are also willing to share this model with friends from Africa and around the world to jointly advance our goals in land degradation neutrality, SDG, and global carbon neutrality. Baofeng empowers our sustainable future with renewable energy.
Okay, thank you for the interesting cases from Baofeng Company. And the first case is a presentation from Tongwei Company. They will show us another cases.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, thanks for inviting us. We are honored to attend the United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification COP15 and to attend COP14. That is our second time to attend this meeting. As we reckon that one of the critical challenges faced by solar PV system is to secure land for solar PV panels, the competition for land used to sustain our livelihood and provide life support systems such as food, water, energy is inevitable. In China, invariably, the piece of land where solar PV systems are installed is waste or degraded land, but that may not be true in many parts of the world. Today, I'd like to introduce the unique Tongwei solar PV and fishery integration solution. It has been a brand new business model, which has not been tried anywhere else before Tongwei Company developed it in 2014. Before I talk about this model, please allow me to introduce Tongwei Company first. Tongwei was established 14 years ago. What we did at that time was breeding fish and producing fish feed, and then we set foot in new energy industry, and now we have built a vertical PV energy industrial chain from the upstream to downstream. So what is fishery and solar PV integration? The basic idea behind is generating clean solar energy before the water and safe aquatic product under the water. There are many unique values and reasons for promoting fishery and PV solar integration model. For example, under this model, building up solar power station does not occupy additional land. Instead, it uses existing fish pond as land. It solves the land shortage problem. Under this model, 2% of water area is for intelligent agriculture. 98% of the vertical space above fish pond is for solar panels putting up. When the panels were installed, it prevents sunlight direct to the water surface, which means darker and better living environment for some species of fish, and more oxygen is created underwater, bringing a suitable environment for intensive cultivation. By introducing PV investment, which feed backfeeding traditional small-scale agriculture, providing farmers more choices for breeding to breed high value-added fish with the same production yield, the market price of high value-added fish is 5 to 10 times higher than the normal one. By considering its PV power generation and environment benefit, the total economic benefit of such solution is 5 times more than the traditional agriculture. So let's look at a typical example. We assume 3 scenarios, and under scenario 3 is tuna fishery and PV integration, which we could see from the profit. The tuna fish farming is 2.14, which is almost double than the traditional agricultural cultivation, which is 1.24. By considering PV solar power, the aggregate amount of profit of scenario 3 will reach to 6.34, which is almost 5 times than the traditional one. So we say this model is a typical leased land to produce more business model by dual harvesting the benefit of solar energy and land product from the same piece of land. That is what we achieve from the UN. That is what we achieve in realizing the UN SDG goals. From no poverty side, we have 5 solar power stations under China's Solar Energy for Poverty Alleviation Program, which helped more than 8,000 financial challenged families to provide them with $800 per year per families for 20 years steady income. Now we have installed capacity over 3 gigawatts in China, create more than $215 million revenues in the financial year of 2022. And in the next few years, we plan to expand our project 1 to 2 gigawatts per year in China in the next few years, and upgrading this model to a modern industrial park, which integrating new fishery, new energy, and new rural area. That is what we want to share today. We wish you all a very successful meeting. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you all of the cases. The cases being implemented in different regions show us the possibility of using solar energy to combat desertification. So for the current development, the limit within the global drylands and integrated solution, solar energy and sustainable land management may be a viable solution. In the next panel discussion, our scientists and policymakers will discuss the topic together. So let me introduce the panelists on podium. Dr. Yang Wenbing, Secretary General of Society of Desertification Control and Science. Dr. Pablo Villegas Rogelio, Technical Advisor, Rectorate of Territory Planning, Soils and Phytogas Desertification, Secretary of the Environment in Argentina, and Mr. Yang Youlin, former UNCCD Regional Coordinator from Asia. So every panelist has 5 minutes. So next one is the Dr. Yang Wenbing will show you the video from Dr. Yang Wenbing. This is also video in Chinese, but we have English subtitle for you.
各位专家、各位同行、女士们、先生们，大家好，我是中国林科院从事荒木化研究的科技工作者。非常感谢会议组委会为我提供这个机会。我今天介绍一下中国的低覆盖度自杀理论以及沙产业发展方面的一些概况。中国是个荒木化分布大省，有260万平方公里的荒木化土地面积，其中呢有8大沙漠、4大沙地，还有6片戈壁，面积非常大。防沙自杀方面，中国主要围绕多采光、少用水，开发新的技术，利用新的技术呢，支撑防沙自杀沙产业的发展，为社会带来了很好的效益。近50年来有几项非常好的技术，一个是窄鳞带小网杆技术，一个是纹理沙帐技术，一个是径流冶炼技术，还有是低覆盖度自杀技术，支撑了中国防沙自杀取得巨大的成绩。几个事例，一个是沙坡头的铁路防护林体系，一个是塔克拉玛干的穿沙公路防沙体系，一个是库布齐沙漠的低覆盖度零条固沙林体系。谈到低覆盖度呢，被认为是中国智慧。这个技术呢，主要是发现低覆盖度天然的疏林降水能够渗入到深层，补给地下水。围绕这个理论呢，我们设计出了合理的土壤水分利用结构，提出了相关的不同区域渗入量。这样的话呢，就是在确保自杀的同时，确保对地下水的补给，维持地下水的稳定。低覆盖度推出以后呢，改变了国家造林技术规程，它的苗木用量呢，大约节约40%到60%，它的生态用水量呢，仅为常规造林的30%到60%。另外，在沙帐方面呢，我们从网格沙帐发展到航带式沙帐，最后发展到羽翼带沙帐，形成了一个沙帐铺设机。整个过程使得沙帐的材料用量降低了60%到70%，节约人工成本呢在80%以上。在提高水分利用率方面，我们介绍4个技术，一个是菌草技术，菌草蛋白含量非常高，能很好的代替清除玉米，它的水分利用效率比清除玉米高了50%到70%。另一个是沙漠有机奶技术，它把自杀、饲料加工、牛奶养殖形成一个长的产业链，提高了水分利用的附加值。每吨水的利用效率呢，达到了200多块钱，比普通玉米、比普通牛奶呢高了1倍以上。另一个是防洪、激流、渗漏水分利用的一个综合技术，这个技术使每吨水的利用价值超过了3000元，其中养红种鱼呢超过了1万元。另一个是大型光生物反应器，我们知道干旱半干旱区非常有利于微藻的生产，而大型光生物反应器呢，使得每吨水产生的价值超过了2万元，这个装置非常优秀。大家知道中国西部呢拥有丰富的光能资源，2020年之前呢，中国的光伏发电呢装机容量已经超过了3亿千瓦。2022年的5月13日呢，我们又计划在沙漠戈壁地区呢规划4.5亿千瓦小时的风光电站，已经开工的呢达到了8500万。这是一些典型的风光情况，在干旱区非常显著。例如呢，中卫沙坡头的光伏自杀治理了沙漠6万多亩，年发电量呢超过了5.3亿，使得年人均收入呢超过7万人民币，效益非常可观。在干旱区发展光伏产业是一个多采光、
与提高水或内流类的组合技术，这个技术效益是非常可观的。好，谢谢各位。
Okay, thank you for the presentation. Next, we'll have a very exciting presentation from Mr. Pablo Villegas Rogelio. He is the Technical Advisor Director of Territorial Planning, Secretary of the Environment in Argentina.
Okay. You can share the presentation. Where the PowerPoint?
It's here. You want to use PowerPoint or PDF?
PDF.
Yeah.
It's okay. Okay. Thank you.
No,
Good morning.
Sorry.
Here.
Should be yours. Yeah,
Okay.
From Mr. Pablo. Camera from Pablo.
什么情况？请来李斌。那边的声音关掉了，现在是要请那个嘉宾发言吗？你们可以把他们 PPT 打开。
Good morning. Thank you for the invitation. I'm very happy and glad to be here. Invitation of the Tsinghua University and the Chinese organizations. Okay. Well, and I try to present an pilot case from Argentina on solar energy in a rural ecosystem in drylands, because we think that drylands ecosystem that the solar energy could be good results because we need the sun, of course. We need practical issues or practical manage to the water. And well, I try to show you one case that in Argentina and one of the ecosystem more important of the South America is called Gran Chaco Americano. It's the second behind the Amazon forest. We share this area with other countries like Paraguay and Bolivia, and you can see the surface. And well, the people who live there, 5 million people, rural indigenous and local farmers. Yeah, no problem. Well, here. And of course, in drylands, we have poor lifestyles and not good socioeconomical condition of life. Yeah. But people who live there need some support from us, from the technologies. Yes, needs the support of the government, the support of the private sector, and the solar energy could be one of the best way to support them. You can see with pictures about the life conditions on the drylands, rural population that have typical houses with not good conditions, yeah, because it's very hot, it's very with scarcity of water, and well, people need some or need improve their lifestyles. Okay, and well, you can see in that picture is a model, is a pilot case, is in the Gran Chaco Americano. We did with the support of the GEF and we try to do a model of the housing with water tank and solar energy with a bomb or pump to collect the water. We see that the roof of the house collect water and is a different that people live in the other pictures that the roof not permit the collection of the water because it's other material. That is an important difference and is an important improvement to life condition of the people. You can see the links that you share some information, and I am in contact with you if you need. And well, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for Mr. And now we will invite Mr. Yang Youling. He is a former UNCCD regional coordinator for Asia. Mr. Yang Youling.
Okay, thank you very much. Very important and academic. As I said, this is one of innovative and best solution to conclude the certification or to achieve the target of the land degradation strategy. Yes, I also like to thank the brief organization of this event by the Social Science School of Chicago University and the CCTC Connect. I listened to all of the speakers. It's very useful and very impressive. And scientists talk about the college restoration, desertification control, land degradation, or other land issues. And the expertise the business sectors talk a lot about their businesses on the development of the new technologies, like solar cells, and other renewable energy. These are very useful. And I had the experience of representative from Xinjiang Institute, scientists from the society, and also the presidents from companies like Longi or Solar Tech or from Misha or the Dongwei. They talked a lot, and their efforts are great and very, very impressive. And I saw from their presentations, we both other developing countries, so other developed countries have a great potential to organize bilateral or multilateral cooperation on the new energy development, especially if you have the presentation and the vision strategy. We have this position. But practically, I like to see something different, which may be to the 9 minutes. Speakers cannot discuss, but I think it's also important. And with all the participants could understand the following few points. Let's think about, for example, most African countries. Our Chinese enterprises develop so good technology and very good facilities, especially in desert or body areas. This need a very huge investment in general. And how about the possibilities to have such effect of the initiatives in Central Asia or African countries? If I think most important now, at this moment, should focus on the improvement of the livelihoods of the grassroots peoples. No, I don't mean we don't need such huge projects in other countries, Central Asia, Africa. I mean we should do everything step by step. For the people living in Africa and Central Asia, let's help them to solve problems. Like they need some powers for cooking, heating, even operation their daily life, like TV, like radio, or other things. So I hope enterprises who work on or videos should think, can they do something about the family skills, solar skills, to help those people to improve their livelihood. Yeah, this is very much. Desertification is caused by deforestation, is caused by wind or something like this. If our villagers or farmers and the grassroots can stop deforestation or cut of the wood and they use the solar cells or windmills, that would be lead to desertification or sand dune evacuations. So this is one point. At the same time, such small scale solar sales can help the people to eliminate the poverty, to help them to increase their income or their daily life. This is the one. Second, is it possible for our enterprises who operate here today, can they consider to finance support one or two demonstration projects? Doesn't matter small or middle size or large one. Let's have such demonstration site in 1 or 2 or 3 Central Asia countries or African countries, and then our African governments, communities, or leaders to see, to understand, and to learn about this use of new technology, especially on the solar energy very slow. I know my colleagues in because of ecology and geography, scientists are not working. They are planning to have such operation or demonstration in world there.
Manage your time. Yeah. Please manage your time. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes. And I think sometimes doing sessions already, and I hope there can be more countries in Africa or Central Asia. That's all I can say for you.
Next, we will have another panelist, Mr. Abdul Wahid. Yeah, Mr. Abdul Wahid is the head of the Department of International Relations Experts at Ecotourism State Committee on Forestry of the Republic of Uzbekistan. And after the presentation by Mr. Abdul Wahid, we will have an interactive dialogue with our participants on site, because I see so many participants from Africa are just here, and we will invite you communicate directly with our Mr. Zonda, Mr. Pablo, and Mr. Abdul Wahid. And we will invite our three panelists just to sit in front of my laptop, and we will discuss together. If you have any question or any comments in our interactive dialogue part, please raise your hand. I will let you just communicate with us. Thank you.
Yes. Good morning, dear colleagues. Thank you. Can I start? Thank you, Madam Moderator. Dear participants of this session, dear colleagues, good morning. I want to present forest landscape restoration activities in Uzbekistan and about the main problem of Central Asia, Aral Sea problem also. Uzbekistan has been severely impacted by land degradation and drought. The mostly landlocked country is rapidly improving its infrastructure, but is experiencing several major environmental problems. The problem of desertification is one of the main challenges of our time, the consequences of which today we are facing with sand and dust storms and other drought issues. They are fully manifested in the region of Central Asia. The frequency and geography of dust storms is growing. The problems of land degradation are aggravating and water resources are being reduced. We have a big desert area, which is we have a Kızılkum Desert, and now we have a Aralkum Desert after disappearing water from the Aral Sea. And 80% of our country is a desert and semi-desert area. We started big program on greening dry bottom of Aral Sea in 2018, and today we are afforested about 1,700,000 hectares. It means during 4 years. And dusty day in our region are coming often. One of the big sand and dust storm was on March 24, and second one we had in Tashkent city, the capital of the country, in 4th of November last year. And for the greening of the Aral Sea region, we have a lot of programs which we are engaging local community and other NGOs. Within their support, every year we are planting about 500,000 hectares. And now we are working with World Bank and European Investment Bank to implement new forest landscape restoration resilient projects in our country, which we are going to create new jobs, and we are going to apply energy efficiency approach. And we have an additional program, national campaign on green space. This campaign started, launched last year in November after the event of sand and dust storms in Tashkent. Our president launched this campaign, and every year we are planting 200 million saplings in the country. And this practice will be applied up to 2030. It means 2 billion saplings we have to plant during this decade. And already the tasks are divided between the agencies and region. And this year already we fulfilled our task with planting more than 200 million saplings. And to survive, to keep survival rate of these seedlings, we are counting electronically every saplings which planted in the city. And best practice, the initiative of the President of the Republic of Uzbekistan at the 75th session of the United Nations General Assembly on May 18, 2021, a special resolution on declaring the Aral Sea region as a zone of ecological innovation and technology was adopted. And the main goal of this zone is to do agriculture and energy efficiency activities in the region. Following measures will be taken to comprehensively introduce the principles of green and circular economy and energy saving technologies in agriculture in the RLC region, to develop environmentally friendly technologies and practices, as well as to stimulate socio-economic development in the region. And we are applying to install some solar water pumps and this kind of energy efficiency technologies to do agricultural activities on the ground. And next one, as I mentioned it, we have a special program, Green Cover, protected forest plantations on the dry bottom of the RLC. During the 3 years, we have a target to plant 1 million hectares in the dry bottom of the RLC. And in the spring of this year, forest lands was expanded by 660,000 hectares, and including created forest plantations on the dry bottom of RLC, it's more than 450,000 hectares. And this is a brief information what's going in our country. Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation from Mr. Abdul. And now we will have an interactive part, and we will invite Mr. Fonda and Mr. Pablo will just sit in front of my laptop. And if you have any questions you want to ask, please just directly raise your hand. Okay. And Mr. Munga, Mr. Patrick Munga, do you want to communicate with our audience? Mr. Patrick Munga. Okay, so do our participants
My name is Abubakar Usman, Great Greenwald, Nigeria. Really, the presentation is very informative. The solar, I'm particularly interested in the solar concept. We have been trying to employ the technology in my organization. But what we found out was it saves cost because you don't have to buy diesel or other fossil fuels. But we have observed certain limitations. First, it is expensive in our location, Nigeria. Two, installation and maintenance are costly. Three, they are vulnerable to vandalization and theft. We normally install them in remote areas where there are no protection, no security. So when we install them, after a while, they tend to be stolen. So I hope this solar tech will provide a solution to these our problems, so that they will not be stolen, or if stolen, they can be identified and traced, so that the installations, our installation cannot be destroyed, so that we can have good project, sustainable project. Thank you.
You mean you just basically do the solar?
Sorry? Yes, we are very interested in the solar technology. We have employed them, but we have some limitations to their application, to their usage. They are stolen. They are expensive. Not easy to maintain. That's my question. That's my contribution.
Okay. So maybe
Thank you.
I fully agree with what you said. The solar energy is not widely used in Africa, and of course, it is vulnerable to vandalism because it's not widely used. Sometimes I used to say, if you take this pen, nobody will steal your pen because it's everywhere. It has no value at least. But now the solar system has a very high value, and they can resell it in a market because it's costly, as you said. So there is a market for stolen solar panels or solar batteries because it's not widely used. So one of the things we need to do is to spread it out all over the rural area, all over wherever they need energy. And at this point, maybe there will be no need for people to steal because they will be able to sell it because it's everywhere. So this is a very big issue. It's not only in Nigeria, even in Burkina. If you have solar system in the public area and it is not high enough in terms of where you implant your panels, of course, people will steal it. But we need to find a way where we can install it in a way that the robbers found it very expensive to get it and steal. If it's high enough, no hand robber or anything will come over, I don't know, 5 meters with the risk of falling down. In Burkina and Ouagadougou, for example, currently what they establish in the public areas, it's so high that no robber will climb it because the risk of falling down is very high. But if you install it in a very low level, even by walking, I can steal it and continue. So these are the things we need to prospect, how best we can put in place a system where it is secured, to secure the installation, and then to make it useful for people. But of course, it's very expensive currently in Africa, and we need to democratize it, make it cheap, and to make it affordable by people. This will help us. This is what I can say as an experience.
Thank you for the response. But still my question is not yet answered. Our major problem is not the solar panels. It is the solar pump. That we are more concerned about the solar pump. It is very expensive and prone to stealing. That's my issue, solar pump particularly.
I think so. Okay.
is not very expensive. Only $100 by house is not well. Of course, if you multiply with population, it's a huge amount of money, but in accordance with the benefits for us, it would a good investment. Yeah.
I think Mr. Monga is here. He has so many experience about the solar pump and about the affordability of the solar technology. So maybe Mr. Monga can answer your question.
Thank you so much for this opportunity to add to what esteemed panel has already spoken. Actually, we have a couple of issues when we really want to promote and scale up solar pumping systems across Africa and other parts of the world. Based on our experience in China, India, and other places where have been successfully installed. One thing is we feel, besides safety factor, which one of the panelists mentioned from Burkina Faso, I feel that targeted financing, especially microfinancing at the community level, becomes very relevant. While we have big companies, large companies like Tongwei and others moving very fast, and that is right. So also we also need small microfinancing business models at the village level, community level. And here I feel that we should learn from other innovative business models, practice what we followed in small hydro and others, where public-private partnerships become very important. Second, I think time has come to talk about risk fund for solar systems, linking to land restoration, because there's a risk on whether it is a stolen or the costing or the otherwise. So that risk fund should mitigate some of the apprehensions what some colleagues have already mentioned. But most importantly, I feel that we should not just look at solar pumping for agriculture or otherwise. We should look at entire sustainable value chains down the line from the agro and aquaculture. I was very much impressed by what Alien Group has done and Tongwei Group has done in China, where they have used a solar pumping system, for example, in Kabuchi Desert to have medicinal plants, and those medicinal plants are getting really processed by local communities, so creating very high value products. On the other hand, Tongwei is also using this solar and aquaculture together very successfully, and that's where the food security, that's the food security and water stress management in these regions. And of course, one area which I feel that all of you have mentioned, but nobody has talked about is environmental impacts. When we use solar pumping systems, we must be very careful that underground water does not get depleted beyond a limit, because then we are creating arid zones in those areas, even if we at the cost of good agriculture. So we must have more water catchment approach, so water get replenished, that groundwater in these places. And most importantly, we must take integrated approach, land, solar, food, and water. All these four components together in a business model approach to sustain them. Thank you.
Thank you for this, Mr. Monga. So back to our onsite or this is the
thank you for what you just said. My name is Nana Haja Salifu Dagati. I'm from the Salifu Dagati Foundation. The problem I think our brother was asking, and I have, is you have a different cost in the solar system for Africa and for other parts of the world. And the solar quality also for Africa is different for other parts and the other parts of the world. The quality within Africa is not good enough, and then it is expensive, and the quality within other parts of the world is quality but very affordable. And also the problem with the solar panel is to be able to store the power, the energy that is created by the sun is also very, very expensive for Africa. So how do we work together to be able to make it affordable and sustainability, including Africa? Because when we have everybody coming talking for Africa, but they're not including Africa in the decision making, and they make it very, very expensive for Africans to be able to afford or to progress in this sustainability. So how do we work together to be able to make it a unified approach to better every community in the whole world? Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Lady. I think all of us are looking for the opportunity to cooperation, not only the Africa, people from Africa, and also the enterprises from China. So about this, maybe I think maybe Mr. Lunda, his position in this field, can answer your question. And maybe if you are interested in this after the study, but you can just your information in our register form and give your email or your WhatsApp number if you are interested in the technique. Because as you said, the cost of the solar technique, yes, it's just different in different regions. But maybe in the future, just with the development of the technology and with the company, the rising of the company, maybe that situation will change. So I cannot just say some certain things about your question, but I want to give your question to Mr. Zonda.
I may not have the direct answer to this, but what I want to share the experience from Burkina Faso, because your question has two aspects, the policy aspects and the enterprise, local enterprise development aspects. Whether we have local enterprise that are able to produce all the kits for solar system, and whether you have the policies supporting enough. For example, in the case of Burkina Faso, they put in place what they call an agency for renewable energy and energy efficiencies. And this agency work to census all the good enterprises in Burkina Faso. So if you want to establish a solar system, you can just call the agency and they will direct you to the appropriate enterprise that have the good material for you. Just avoid going to buy some inadequate material that are cheap, but that are not long-standing. So this is the one thing that we are doing in Burkina Faso, having a good policy that supports the development of the solar energy in the country and establishing a good system to know exactly who is the expert in this system and who can deliver a good material for this. But for those who are from Burkina, they can remember that the price of the energy system fall down more than 0.5% in 20 years. At the beginning of the energy,
I was invited by the conference organizers.
The price is half.
It's a conference
as compared to the 20 years ago. So it means that the government has to do something, put in place some incentives to develop the local enterprise. Otherwise, we will rely on the external enterprise that you don't know whether they are competent on this.
Hello. We cannot hear you.
You can hear?
Can I speak? Can I take a small point here? Small. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much once again giving me the opportunity. One area which I wanted to mention to all participants and esteemed panel was on capacity building side. I still recall my visit to China in 2019 from UNCCD side. when we signed MOU with Tsinghua University. I feel it's a partnership between university like Tsinghua University and others in different parts of the world with the public and private sector becomes very relevant in making capacity building, awareness raising, and of course, bringing the like-minded people together on a platform becomes very relevant. So I'll call upon especially colleagues from Argentina, from Burkina Faso, and from Uzbekistan to make use of this opportunity and consider exploring this partnership with Tsinghua University and like-minded other universities around the world to really bring in the strong academics and science and technology in your work at the policy level. And I would like to call upon UNCCD colleagues here who are present to facilitate that interface between universities and with the public policy makers sitting here as well as the private sector so that we can have multiplier effect and we can really move forward towards a very sustainable land solar plus program around the world. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Wonga. I see some hand raising from our participants online. Hui Wenzhang, please, you can just press the button of your microphone.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Yeah, I'm Hui Wen from China. So today I'm very happy to hear a lot of Chinese solar technology, and I'm glad to see that we do have some officers from different countries, especially from Uzbekistan. So I would like to ask a question to Mr. Abdul Wakid. I don't know whether he's still there. So because I'm knowing that there is a RRC area in Pakistan, and which need a lot of ecological restoration. So it seems like there will be some possibilities to install solar PV in that area. So I would like to ask you that can you see some possibilities to cooperate with China in the RRC area? And or if not, so which interest point you would like to introduce that maybe we can cooperate in that area in the future? So that is my question. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. We will let Mr.
Thank you for your question. Yeah, this is a very interesting question. Okay. Thank you for your question. This is a very good question for us, and we are at present started to develop feasibility study in RLC region to implement new projects, which is landscape restoration in RLC region. And for this project, we are going to engage about 60 million euros. And now we are in the feasibility stage, and it would be very great if we will do some partnership program on feasibility of solar component. It would be great because now we are in time to start our collaboration in this sphere. It's very interesting, and now we are working with German GIZ, let's say, and they are with GIZ project we are implementing honey forest in RLC region, and we are applying to that forest solar energy approach as well. And for this we are already installing solar water pump to supply water to that area. And as our colleagues mentioned, the solar water pump is not cheaper, but if we will distribute among the countries, and if we will raise awareness of this solar pump, and it may bring new factories in the country and new opportunities to develop and to make agricultural activities on the ground and forestation efforts as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your. So today we'll have a very exciting and fruitful discussion about the solar land blast and also about how to use solar energy to combat precipitation. Our meeting is just at the end, and make sure you just leave the questionnaire on the table. And if you have any further questions, please send the email to us. Just deliver in our flyer, and please leave your information on the register form. So we will exchange some information. And if you have further inquiries, so you can just wait here and panelists. So thank you for your participation. Thank you for all your discussions. Thank you for all our scientists and participators. Thank you. Thanks.
Take a photo.
In the last meeting, we will have a part to take our photos. If you want, you can just go here. We will have a picture together. So if you want, we can just stay in our podium. So please come to have a photo together.